Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. My name is Charles Tumeva Zeganza, the host of this podcast today, the M Voices podcast, brought to you by Tahi and Hivos plus the Swedish government. So here with me in studio, I have one of the smartest young men who knows how to use media and social media in particular. Mr. Gideon Kwikiriza. Nova is our guest today. Nova is the president of X, formerly known as Twitter, and he has quite vast knowledge in social media and, of course, pushing voices of young people. And remember, this podcast is really about amplifying the voices of young people, especially the marginalized groups of young people with disability, young people living with HIV, and young people that have limited access to health, especially those in villages, and of course the people in slums and ghettos in Kampala. So Gideon, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you for having me. Once again, I'm Gideon Nova Kwikiriza. I am a professional journalist. I am a social justice activist. I am the president of Ugandans on X, formerly Twitter. And I'm glad to be here to contribute to this conversation.
Yeah, you're welcome to our offices. I know that you've known about Tahi, but you had never been at our offices before.
I've seen it. I've heard about it through you.
Yes.
And the amazing works that you people are doing. We really appreciate that you are lifting the voices of the marginalized young people, those with disabilities, those that are disadvantaged.
Yeah.
We really appreciate. Yeah.
Yes, I know that Gideon, yes, you are the president of the Ugandans on X, but we've also seen you really doing a lot of work. I've seen you doing charity. I've seen you, calling on the public to contribute. I think I saw a young girl who was, they had stopped her from accessing her pass slip. And, you went ahead to solicit money for her to access. So I've really been following you doing a lot of good work. And some of the things you're going to be sharing are some of those success stories that are happening on that platform. Yes, but before that, I wanted to ask you about how you think social media can shape voices and influence policies, influence different things around young people. How best do you think we can use social media, especially young people?
Social media is a global village where people from across the globe, across the world, come together to share ideas, to share cultures, to share opinions, to share so many things. It's something that we should celebrate. That some years ago, if you needed to speak to someone who is in the US, you needed to get a visa and go to the US, talk to them, or it was a very expensive phone call. But now you can do a WhatsApp video call. Makes you feel like you're seeing them in person. You can make a post on X and tag this person. We've seen some Africans here who have tagged Elon Musk and he's responded to them. How else would you Elon Musk respond to an African? On what basis?
Sure.
So it's a global village and it's a global community. And like any other community, it has people who are doing well. It has people who are disadvantaged. It has all these are users on these platforms. So just like we've been doing advocacy, even before social media has enabled us to amplify the voices of advocacy. Because right now, if I made a post, a simple post will be seen by Ugandans, Kenyans, Rwandans, South Africans, Americans, So our social media, the most important thing, especially around dealing with marginalized communities is advocacy. That's the power that social media has given us. That when you post something, when you talk about something online using the digital platforms, it will be seen by those responsible, for example, government. They will know where they are going wrong, what they are missing. Then the development partners will also be able to see what are they funding exactly, why is it that they are funding a certain project, and then Chelsea is posting something that shows the targeted beneficiaries of such a project are actually not benefiting from it. So they will hold those they are remitting funds to accountable. You will have the general public, like the campaigns we've been running on social media. You have the general public come through, they send in money to help people who are really suffering. So for me, even without going into so many other things, social media has helped us in as far as advocacy is concerned. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. And as you said, there is someone like Elon Musk, coming to say comment on my post. Someone that's I think the richest person in the whole world. So someone like me who's coming deep in the village of Kiruhura, I wouldn't have really a chance to speak to him. So do you think then we could use this platform, and how best can we bridge the gap between us, the young people, or the common population, with the government? How can we hold the government accountable? I've seen you do some work with Agora and other entities. How best can we use still this platform to hold government accountable?
Holding government accountable is a civic duty to all citizens in Uganda. It's not supposed to be a preserve of Gideon or Charles or Bobby Wine or whoever. For as long as you're a citizen of a country, you pay taxes. It's your role to make sure that the taxes you pay are used to do what they are supposed to do. Things that include provision of healthcare, provision of security, education, infrastructure, all these things. So it is our role as citizens to make sure that we hold governments accountable. That said, social media, like I said, our digital platforms are a good amplifier of the voices of the people who are holding government accountable, their leaders accountable. For example, if assuming we didn't have social media, and in a constituency, I will use an example of my constituency, Nyabshozi County, where I come from. Just imagine that for me to report anything that's happening in my constituency to the area MP, I had to look for him or call him. Just imagine how many thousands of people that are in a constituency. Imagine that they are all calling the MP or they want to meet him physically. That would practically be impossible. And the effectiveness of service delivery would be very, very slow. And that was the case some years ago. But right now, if I see, say, if I visited a health center 3 in my health center 2 or 3 in my constituency, and I found out that the health workers are actually not present at work, I'll just tweet. I'll make a tweet about it. I'll tag my area MP. And as he goes through, I'll tag the area MP, I'll tag the chief administrative officer, I'll tag Minister of Health, I'll tag the permanent secretary, the minister. I'll give you an example. I went to Mbara Regional Referral Hospital some time back, I think early last year. My cousin had health complications. I went to visit her. And she was in the gynecological and fistula department. When I entered, there was this stinking smell that was coming out of the building. I kept asking, what's the problem? So they said, you go and visit the washrooms and see what's there. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This is a gynecological department, for God's sake. You have women who have issues with their private parts, and they have to sit on toilets that will just add more diseases and infections to them. I took photos of the toilets. I posted on my X handle. In 2 days, a team from Kampala, from Ministry of Health, traveled all the way to Mbarara. They met with the local leadership of the
just
local.
Out of your tweet.
Yes, just one tweet. They met the leadership of Mbarara and the leadership of the hospital. And in, I think, like 3 days, they renovated the toilets. They removed the old tiles and everything. Right now, they are new, refurbished toilets.
Wow.
That's what social media can make us do. The people who are in that hospital don't even know where it came from, it started. They don't really know the story. So I think that social media digital platforms are really a great deal platforms for us to hold leadership accountable. Whatever you see that doesn't go right, that's not going right, if it's a road, if it's a school, if it's a hospital, if it's a corruption case. You remember, Charles, we had the March to Parliament that started from social media on X. That's where we mobilized. And while some people think there was no impact, but I have never seen the Speaker of Parliament behave the way she behaved then. The extravagancy and all these things. So yeah, social media is really a good platform that we can all capitalize on to hold our leaders accountable.
Yeah, because I had a question on whether these posts are actually seen, whether the government sees, these posts that you make, the noise that we do, and you just mentioned that your tweet was identified, and of course they acted on it.
I can give you more examples if you want.
So I wanted you to share more, because then sometimes we tweet and we think it only stops at that. Does the government see? Does the president see? Does the minister see? Last time I saw, actually we are followed by the Ministry of Health as this organization. And so we hope that what we put there, even this conversation, once we put it there, they're able to, follow. So give us a few other success stories that have happened from social media.
The other example, which is also related to health, there's a woman who had an ectopic pregnancy, and she was at Entebbe Grade B hospital. A young Ugandan helped this woman because she was dying. That was her second ectopic pregnancy. So she was taken to Entebbe Grade B. And the health workers there were claiming that they don't have what it takes to put her in a theater and operate her. Small things like gloves, these things that they use. So they told this young man who had brought the lady. Meanwhile, this lady was dumb and deaf. And the husband is dumb and deaf. They are poor. And they have children. So they told this young man who had brought the lady that we need 300,000 to buy basic things to use in the operation room because we don't have them as a hospital. This young man reached out to me because he thought I could help. I made a post about it. When I made a post about it, generous Ugandans contributed the tune of 600,000, yet what was needed was 300,000. I sent that money, and the woman was actually operated. Then the following morning, I followed up with a visit at the hospital to see what really was happening. But when I made the post, the Ministry of Health page came out claiming that that was not possible. They were defending, as we understand what they are supposed to do. But they they saw what I had posted, responded, and they later also made a subsequent visit to the hospital to question why such things were happening. That is one other example. Another example is about the Uganda Airlines. A friend of mine, who is actually the president of the South Sudanese on X, reached out to me. He had a sick grandmother who was flying out of the country, and they were supposed to first stabilize her. So she missed her flight. And you're supposed to pay a penalty for missing a flight. Then your flight is rescheduled. So this guy calls in and says, "Is there a way I can pay on mobile money?" They said, "Yeah, you throw this code, you can send the money, we receive it, and reschedule your flight." He sent the money. They sent him acknowledgement, and then the flight was not rescheduled. The guy kept calling them, and this is an old a grandmother who is sick, who needs to go and get medical attention. He reached out to me. I shared the story on my platform, and immediately the Uganda Airlines responded, and the old woman the flight was rescheduled, and the woman flew out of the country. I'll give you an example of the SAD Junior campaign. We have a brother of ours who died last year, I think. Is it last year? Yeah. A photographer. He died. I initiated a campaign to educate his son, but some of the government agencies responded. So they were seeing the campaign. Some individuals in government and others responded. So these people, the leaders, government officials, some even when they will ignore because probably they don't have answers, but trust me, they see what we post. They see everything that we do. So they can choose on responding or not, but they always see and they follow. Yeah, and there are so many other examples.
Yeah, they do follow. Interesting. I think I would really commend you so much for doing all that great work. And for me, when you speak about that, one thing that comes to me is that the resources are there, but then the government would always wait for us to push them. Not like the story you shared about the regional referral hospital and others. You mentioned, I think, something around the Ministry of Health.
Yeah.
Resources are there, but then we just need to find a way of using that platform to push for what we really require.
Yeah,
but true. Then there's something else about the cost, the internet cost. And of course, some do not even have the phones to use, especially those that are in the different areas, say Karamoja Deep and all that. And of course, now you're the voice for those who do not have the tools. But when it comes to internet costs, are you doing anything around that to push for at least cutting of costs by these companies, MTN, Airtel, and all?
That's one of the key elements of my advocacy, things that we've been pushing. But I would say it's work in progress. It's work in progress. Our job is to keep advocating for better, and we've I don't know how many times talked about the cost of internet in this country. Of course, as compared to our colleagues in the East African region, we have countries that are worse, like Sudan and others. But we are saying that, and the irony is that government doesn't even consider what they lose by making internet so expensive. There's a lot that the country loses, especially in terms of public relations. If you went to a country like Rwanda, they have been so intention on helping and supporting internet users. It's a small country with a small population, but at least the government is intention on pushing, because it all translates into marketing the country. That's what it translates into. So we've been making efforts. I have had a conversation with UCC before about this issue. I cannot say that we have had any progress in as far as reducing the prices of internet are concerned. But I think that if we came together, if we united as digital social media users and as Ugandans as a whole, let me just give you some figures of how these digital platforms are used in this country. This will give you a bigger picture. First of all, we have around 2.5 million people with smartphones in Uganda. I need to be corrected on those figures, but this is how the digital platforms are used in Uganda. The topmost used application or digital platform in Uganda is WhatsApp with about 10 million users. The second is TikTok with about 9 million users. The third is YouTube with about 6 million users. The fourth is Snapchat with about 2 million users. The third is Instagram with about 1.6 million users. And then X in the last position.
I've not had Facebook.
Facebook was banned here. I wouldn't want to talk about it.
So
it was banned here.
Use it, so.
Yeah, they use it, but I don't want to. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have X with about 800,000 users in the country. So if you put all that number all together, you'll have around like 15 million users in the country.
Okay.
That's out of about 47 million people in the country. And we are a young generation. Uganda is the second youngest country in the whole world after Niger.
Yeah.
So we are a young population. The question is, why are we having only about 15 million people on the digital platforms, yet we have a very young population? Then we go back to one, the cost of devices.
Yeah.
If you a laptop, a phone, I think they are very high, and they are very high because they are also highly taxed.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have what you talked about, the cost of data, the cost of internet. It's also another problem that we are facing. So our job is to keep advocating. Now that we are not yet in positions of decision making, our job is to use these platforms to keep pushing and speaking about these things. Maybe our leaders will respond and act upon them.
Yeah, interesting. I was looking at the census report of 2024, showing that 4% of the households, actually, let me start with 4 in every 10 persons, that's 43%. Those aged between 10 or 10 and above owned a mobile phone. Then 4% of the households owned a computer, only 4%. So 41% owned a radio, and 23.1% owned a television. So those that have access to internet are 8.9%.
Imagine.
That's census report 2024. And 67% are using it for social networking. That's social media. But we only have about 8.9%. But still, I don't want to look at this 8.9%. It would look very small, but what's the impact of that small percentage that are actually on internet? The impact that you've just mentioned. How can we, the small population or proportion, how can we really best utilize this? And to take me to policy reforms do you think, what do you think should change? Because when we even talk about internet cost, we are talking about issues to do with taxes and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, also the government wants to use this money to maybe deliver services better. Do we even see where this tax is going? So what are some of the policy reforms that you think can come out of this for us to best enjoy the services on social media, digital platforms? Do you think that some policy reforms?
That's an interesting question. The problem is that our government, rather than looking at what you're suggesting, the policy reforms to have more users on digital platforms and the good that comes with that, they are instead looking at suppressing voices on these platforms. That's how you end up with the Computer Misuse Act that was recently, I think a few days ago, that was
it was banned, I think, yesterday.
The Constitutional Court pronounced that it was found null and void. Then you have internet shutdowns during elections. You have the banning of Facebook. I'm just painting a picture of the attitude of government towards these digital platforms. You're banning Facebook, yes, you have the power to ban it, but at what cost to the young people? At what cost to the country? Facebook runs on an economy that can support your budget for the next 10 years. So I don't know if they will even notice that Uganda banned Facebook and they will feel the pain of your ban. But on your side, you have so many young people unemployed who have found something to do on these social media platforms where they can earn a fortune, and you're blocking them. So the attitude you have seen, I have seen the president of Uganda on several occasions say, me, I don't use social media. I have my small phone, those things. I'm just giving you the attitude. So we need to understand that before we discuss policy, what's the position of our government towards these digital platforms? What's their position? For as long as we don't work on their position, for as long as they don't change their attitude towards the usage of these digital platforms, we may not achieve anything. But nonetheless, I have a feeling that if government really looked at reducing the taxes on these devices, on phones, on laptops, at least phones, reduce taxes, so that when they reduce taxes, we can have as many people buying these smartphones. You can say we are reducing taxes for just 5 years to allow our people to buy these smartphones. Then we can bring back the tax to where it was before. But let's let our target be that we are having more smartphones in the country. That's one. Two, we can look at reducing the cost of internet. Talk to these telecom companies, reduce, give them tax incentives as well. Let them reduce on the cost of internet so that you have more people connected to internet. That's also something that can be shared. But also, the government should look at supporting Ugandan content creators. For example, I've been pushing for we have what we call the creator revenue share on X. The creator revenue share is a small amount of money that is given to content creators because you're using a platform, and the platform like X makes money out of your usage. So you are a medium through which X advertises, or makes money. So they make a return and say, Charles, you've boosted our business, we are giving you back. In Rwanda, in Kenya, they are earning their money, their X creator revenue share directly. We can't earn it here because we don't have Stripe. And that's only government that can reach out to Stripe and bring them to our market.
What is Stripe?
Stripe is an international tech company, monetary tech company. And it's the only company that X hired to help X remit creator revenue share to the content creators in the whole world. So they have an exclusive deal with X. Yeah? Let me give an example, a basic example that that all of us will understand. It's just like Vivo Energy and Shell. Yeah. It's just like my company, Amajuta Nachogi. We may grow to a point where we are not capable of distribution. So we may hire African Queen and say, African Queen, we are going to have a dealership deal with you. You're going to help us distribute an exclusive deal. You're going to help us distribute our product across the country and the rest of the world. So if anyone wants my product, Amajuta Nachogi, they will have to go through African Queen. You get it? It's only African Queen that can come to Amajuta Nachogi and take ghee to the market. So it's only Stripe that pays money that comes from X to the content creators. Here in Africa, because Stripe wanted to expand to Africa, they bought a fintech company called Paystack. It was a Nigerian fintech company in 2010. They bought it at around a tune of $200 million. And so Paystack is the African arm of Stripe. Yeah? So you just have to reach out to Paystack and say, we are Uganda, we have our content creators here, they are earning the creator revenue share, but they can't receive it because you have not introduced your product here. So they will come here and the content creators will start earning. That's government. So I'm just giving an example of we shouldn't be pushing for these things. It's government that should be picking interest. So at policy level, the government should also support content creators in Uganda. By supporting content creators, these people are doing advocacy. They are also doing content that promotes the country. When they promote it, we are boosting our tourism. We are having more dollars, euros, and all this money is coming to our country. So that's what I can say about the policy.
Great. We are winding up, I think, in the next 2 minutes. But, when you talk about that, Uganda, I think Uganda has very great policies. Even when it comes to structure, we have a ministry of, I don't know whether it's a ministry, but I think we have a ministry of ICT.
Yeah.
We have a director of the Uganda Communications Service or something like that, UCC, Communications Commission. We have the structures are there. But then when it comes to implementation and all that, I don't know how you're going to come in really to see that you work closely with at least UCC or Ministry of ICT. And I don't know whether the problem is with how you young people use social media, that it's more of a threat. We saw what happened during the campaign.
You're sounding like an elder.
Yeah. We saw what happened towards the election. I think it was 2 days or 3 days to election and they cut it. So they know the power of social media. So is it that we are using it badly, that they see that we're using badly? Do you think we need to change something now? You're speaking as an advocate, but when you do an introspection, do you think there's also something for us to change, that then we have that other big good picture with government?
Most definitely, there is social media usage that I cannot claim there isn't. there is misinformation, there is disinformation,
Yes.
there is moral decadence, all these things that are happening. But they are everywhere in the world, even in the US, even everywhere in the world, they are there. And the bad characters are not just on social media, even in the normal life before social media. That's why we have prisons. That's why we have police and all these things.
Yeah.
Does that then mean that if we have bad characters on social media, then we should shut it down or we shouldn't support it as though the majority on social media are bad people? No, that's not the case. Social media has been used to do tremendous things for this industry. If you look at our tourism industry, it's really been boosted significantly since the inception of social media. So you can't put that aside and then focus on Gideon or Charles who is misinforming people and all these things. We should find a way of handling, one being education. We need to educate. We need to create awareness about social media usage. That's my role, that's your role, and that's the role of government. And I've really been doing that, and my colleagues have been doing that. We need to make sure that social media is used in the right way. But that does not call. You see, the problem with our government is actually not the poor usage of social media. They don't focus on those who use it poorly. They don't focus on those who misinform the public. For as long as you are poorly using social media, but on their side, you can go. They will let you slide. The problem is that using social media to critique the government. That's where it becomes poor social media usage. That's where the banning comes in. That's where the shutdowns come in. That's the problem. But if we focused on taking in positive criticism and working upon it, then we would be a better country.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Gideon. That was very, very insightful. Thank you so much. But I still think that you're doing a good job. But
Thank you.
I think there is also a lot of work you need to do around documentation of that good work that you've done. If you're going to take it maybe to the government, I saw the recent trending chat with Muzei. I don't know when you will be invited as the president of X, but I think these are things that for sure you need to document and present to these people so that they get to know.
Allow me to disagree with you on that. The documentation is automatically done on these platforms. They just need to embrace these platforms. When I host a space and it's recorded, the entire space is recorded and left there. Yeah. When I make a post, the post doesn't delete, it's there. They just need to embrace. We cannot we cannot be discussing artificial intelligence and you're still in analog where you think that I should carry papers to your office.
Yes. Gideon, I know. But for us, we in advocacy, there's what we call smart advocacy, being intentional. Yes, it's there, it's left, but it's for everyone. So if you want to change something, then you also need to be intentional and be smart. Thank you so much. That wasn't really to call for your counteraction, but I really want to say thank you so much. I think for me, you're one of the people in Uganda who are doing a lot of work.
Thank you.
I've seen presidents, I think, on X before, but I think you've really done a good job. The others also did well, but I think you've really done quite a good job. Now, lastly, as we end, at Tahi, we are strong on inclusion, especially around disability. I want you to share something that to the young people with disability. You've talked about monetization. How can they, harness that? How can we ensure that social media or digital platforms are inclusive?
I'll start with a story, a success story of a disabled young man who has become now something to talk about. He's called Bugembe Nelson. Yeah. Bugembe Nelson, I have seen him start from zero. From the start, he never acted or he never embraced disability. He never used it as an excuse. He started making liquid soap, and he was posting his products on X. Started with 1 jerrycan, 2 jerrycans. Right now, when I follow him, he brings these big trucks to carry his orders. And from that, he even started, I think, an NGO, Twezule, something like that, yes. Twezule Foundation. And he's trying to help other young people with disabilities. Yeah. But his main platform has been social media. So these digital platforms, using that example, and even others, using that example, you can clearly see that social media or these digital platforms are not, they are not segregative. They are actually inclusive. Yeah. That a disabled person will come and use it, and they will earn something out of it. So it's just a matter of us as users or as a country looking at how better can we support, like, for example, the disabled people using social media platforms. That the advocacy should be, if a person like Nelson makes a post about something, it should be in the minds of the people that this is a disabled person. They are not advantaged like me. So how do we support whatever cause they have put out there more than a Gideon who is a normal human being, who is not, just like you would find a disabled person on the street crossing the road and you help them to stop the cars so that they can cross. So as these people share the same platforms, we should be able to somehow always give them more support than we would give to a fully boarded human being. And say that if Nelson is selling liquid soap, he cannot get the same audience as Gideon is getting if he was also selling liquid soap. We should speak to the minds of other users for them to understand and appreciate that this is a disabled person. Let's support them more and make them feel loved and appreciated on this platform. Make them feel, same thing with people living with HIV. I've seen people who have come openly to say they are living with HIV on these platforms.
Disclose,
to disclose that they are living with HIV. We should support them more. We should show them love. We should make them feel like they are normal human beings. We should paint them with comments and quotes of "We love you. You're okay. You're good. You are beautiful." That's I feel that's how we are supposed to use these digital platforms to include the marginalized communities.
Thank you so much, Gideon. That's been Gideon Kwikiriza today, and I want to still appreciate you for being considerate when it comes to disability, because I know that you also have a whole sort of board that you work with, and I saw that you work with Nelson on your board as
he's actually on my cabinet.
On your cabinet,
he represents people with disabilities.
Yes, so thank you so much for being very inclusive, and I would also ask the rest of us to be very, very considerate of that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for following. We invite you all to follow our social media platforms on X, on TikTok, and on YouTube. Thank you so very much, and we shall be coming up again in our next episode. For today, bye, and Mr. Nelson. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for that great work.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Great job. Bye.